So, I lived in Paris for 2 months illegally. Hello, my name is Tanishk, and I am here just for the vibes. But the vibes were not letting me vibe. You catch my vibe? In case I'm not making sense, because I realize I'm not. Um, I have been living in Paris since 2021. I moved here for my master's right after my undergrad, and I studied here for 2 years and have been working for the past year and a half. I have an Indian passport, which means to be here, I need to be on a visa, like even for tourism reasons, or as in my case, to live here. For the first 2 years, I was on a student visa, which I had to go through a renewal process, but I was studying, so that was that aspect. And then the year after that, I stayed back and worked on a job seeker visa, which is accessible to certain nationalities. Indian is one of them, which is what brings us here, or more accurately, to November 2024. At this point, my visa was about to expire. If you remember watching the presidential election vlogs, I was literally in the last week or so of my visa being valid. It was a tense situation, not just because of certain political changes that we have been privy to in the time that has passed since. So I thought, given that I have been here for like 2.5, 3 years at that point, like it would be easy to get a visa, right? Like it should be super smooth, right? Not really. Well, yes and no. Here's why. Yes, because the process, according to all of the guides online, is relatively straightforward. It can be complicated at times. In my case, it was a little complicated. I had to apply for a work permit to be able to justify the fact that I am like staying here and working. Essentially, the point of the permit, from what I understand, is the organization that hires me needs to prove why they are choosing to hire me, a foreign national, over someone who is French. That is a process. So it was complicated for me, but it doesn't always have to be. Here's why it was not straightforward. It takes a really long time for all of this to materialize. So in my case, it was like I had to prove that I was not taking a job from someone who is French and is also qualified for the role, which meant that there had to be a job posting that was made and then made available on like the French government's official job portal, which was then had to be open for 3 weeks to a month. And when the human resources team at my organization had that posting open and they went through the process and saw that there was no one who could fulfill the role better than me, with that as evidence, with this entire process as evidence, they could apply for a work permit on my behalf, saying that, hey, we did the thing. There's no one better qualified than this guy to do this job, so we really need him to work. And then the French Interior Ministry is like, okay, we'll take a look. And that process can take anywhere between a month to 2 months. In the timeline of where this was happening, I started the process of getting my work permit in like late August, early September, and my visa is expiring on November 15th. So it's a pretty tight deadline, but like I had done my renewal process with like 2 months buffer the previous few times. So I was like, 2 months is gonna be fine, right? I was so wrong. So I'm doing this thing, getting in touch with the relevant people. My HR team at the place I work was really helpful with this, and it was all like relatively smooth sailing. But like the request for a work permit got eventually filed in October. I had less than like a month left on my current visa. I was, as a result, in crisis mode, being like, am I gonna be deported? Which was also scary because at the same time we have like the US presidential elections, and well, the person who won constantly talking about deporting anyone who's an illegal immigrant or just an immigrant. I don't know. I haven't read up completely on that yet. And then acting on it as soon as he is in office. So like that was a fun time to be in. But as it stood, November 15th came and went. As a result, my visa was now expired and I still didn't have a response on my work permit. I had already filed a visa application, be like, hey, so I have applied for this work permit. Could you like give me a visa? Because, you know, like it's the French administration that's taking time. Like, so like, you know, you get me, you know? No. My dossier was looked at for less than a minute, I want to say. And they were like, rejected. Why? You don't have a work permit. And so that was fun. I spoke to my HR person who had been in touch with like the company's legal teams, and they were like, yeah, let's wait for the work permit. You have filed it, and once we have it, you do the visa application again as soon as possible. I'm like, okay, cool, we can do that. The work permit came in on 16th of December, a month after I was no longer allowed to stay or work in the French territory. Staying is a little bit more flexible, I guess, because I had legally entered French territory and I hadn't left since. Given that I was in the process of applying for a visa, it was fine. But I did not have the right to work, so it was like a full month where I just couldn't work, which was fun, which was fine. I'm fine. That being said, 16 December, I get my work permit. I immediately file the visa application again. That takes another 2.5 weeks to process. So come 6th January 2025, I'm asked for more documents to validate my visa application, and I send in those documents, but then I get like an instantaneous response being like, hey, so your application has been accepted. You must now come into the police center where we deal with immigration stuff on the 29th of January, which is a month from when we're sending you this. And I'm like, okay, so I have another month where I am in this limbo because I now have the right to work again, or at that point I had the right to work again after my work permit, but I still was like an illegal resident. I'm saying illegal in these inverted commas because I don't think I was, but like it felt like it, and I constantly was like so stressed about like, I don't know, what if one day they just decide to, you know, like just check up, or like he doesn't have a visa, why is he sticking around, like send him back kind of vibes, which I don't know, was really like something that was taking up so much of my headspace. I still spent like 3 weeks from the point that my dossier was accepted to the point that I had this rendezvous, which was yesterday at the time that I'm filming this. Here's what I felt right as I was about to head into this. So, today is my appointment. Actually, it is in exactly 4.5 hours. I am excited for this entire process to end, but I am also so tired. Like, I've spent the past 2.5 months, the past 2.5 months just like constantly being on edge, because I know like I've followed all the procedures correctly, but there's this lingering feeling that I'm not doing something right, and that is why like I still don't have my documents and I'm living here illegally. Like, if any legal team is watching it, I did everything right. Okay, this is not me incriminating myself, but like admin stuff is slow in France. Like, I don't know what to tell you. As of this point, I am still on edge. I can't believe that today is the day that the rendezvous is gonna happen, and I am double checking, triple checking every single document that I have to make sure that I have everything that I need. And I'm also like, this is the first time I have an appointment which is in the afternoon rather than the morning. Like right now it's 11, I'm still at home. Usually I would be at the center because like I have a slot at like 10 a.m. or something. So that the idea of like spending the day before I go to the appointment is stressful. in a way, I'm excited for this entire thing to end. Like, I don't want to feel like I don't have the right to be here, because I do. And I just, I'm excited for this to end, and excited to be able to move around again. I was thinking about it. One thing that would be kind of fun and interesting is that, well, technically my visa always used to expire right before the holiday season, so all this period would always be full of like stress. But now technically I'm assuming like the expiry date would be décalé un peu, so like moved, postponed, I guess. So I would be able to spend the holiday season without the stress of like, hey, my visa's gonna expire in like 5 days, like, Merry Christmas. So that's fun. I will keep you posted on how that goes. Well, I guess I either kept you posted or will keep you posted depending on where this ends up in the edit. So I'm ready to go. This is my outfit. Of course, minus the slippers, but I'm still very nervous. But fingers crossed, everything is gonna go well. Everything's gonna go well. Everything's gonna go well. Ciao. Well, as you can probably guess, the appointment went well. I am no longer illegally living in France. I am legally living in France. The way this works is they need to give me like a visa card situation, which will be like my proper visa for the next year. But till that card is being processed on the basis of the information and the documents that I have given them during this appointment yesterday, I have this paper situation in the meantime, which says like, hey, this guy has applied for a visa. His visa application has been approved. The card has been requested. In the meantime, let him have this document which gives him all the rights that his visa would give him. Till the time that the card is being prepared, you can do whatever the visa would allow you to do with the help of this document. I still haven't fully understood how relieved I feel that this has come to an end. I spent the entire end of the year and the beginning of this year constantly on edge, almost feeling restricted, because I don't know, I felt like I just should shrink up as much as possible and like make myself as less noticeable as possible, because what if something happens or whatever. And that was just like really, really stressful. I still don't think I have fully understood the amount of relief or like the burden that has been lifted off my shoulders since yesterday. It's just like it's manifesting itself in the sense of like all of these random aches and like pains that I had over the past, I'm assuming 3-4 months, that I just ignored because there was this one anxiety that was lingering on my head all the time. They're kind of showing themselves now, which is fun. But all of that to say, I'm really grateful that everything worked out great. The appointment at the police prefecture itself was very smooth. I had all of my documents in place. They were really nice and welcoming. I am legally resident here and free to move around again, which is a nice feeling. All of that to say, prepare a lot of time if you're planning to apply for like a French long-term residence visa, or I guess any long-term residence visa, because there are unforeseen delays that can like completely upend your timeline of things and how you approach the process and how quickly you can have a response, and a favorable response for that. This was a very short talky talk one because I felt like maybe there are other people in this situation who could get some relief in the sense of my experience of the process, I guess. That's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. If you did stick around this far, leave a like, subscribe, and yeah, I will hopefully see you guys soon with some vlogs for some places that I might or might not be going. Ciao, ciao.